So you have Lyme disease and you took the antibiotics, but you're not seeing the results that you thought you would. You still have Lyme disease symptoms and they're not going away. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about what to do about it, why it's happening, and the next steps that you can take in order to start healing your body from Lyme disease. Let's do it. Hey, my name is Ryan Kearns. Lyme disease was attacking my heart and killing my body. It was just such a dreadful experience, and I ended up over time beating it holistically. And look, there's a lot of people that are scared for their health, and I don't want you to be one of them. So that's why I created this channel. So if you're new here, welcome, and smack that subscribe button, and let's talk about what we're talking about today. So look, an estimated 20% of patients show recurring symptoms after antibiotic use with Lyme disease. And another study showed that 6 months following antibiotics, 36% of patients reported new onset fatigue, 20% reported widespread pain, and 45% reported neurocognitive difficulties with their thinking in their brain, right? So needless to say, there are some people who take their antibiotics for anywhere from 10 to 16 days and they don't see any results. Either that or they see results, but then eventually it ends up going backwards and the symptoms just come back anyway. So today we're going to talk about why that is, what that looks like, and the different ways that we can kind of attack that and make sure that it's not happening to you in your life. First of all, there's two types of reasons that this would be happening. The first one is called PTLDS, or Post-Treatment Lyme Disease Syndrome. And this is people who were successfully treated with antibiotics, but due to bacterial damage, they still suffer a range of symptoms, right? There's still problems inside their body even after it's over, even after the antibiotics, okay? And the other one, the second one, is chronic Lyme, and these are those who have gone through a long course of antibiotics and they just don't see any results, or they see little results that end up rewinding or falling back on themselves over time anyway. So those are two different types of people. Again, the first one is they successfully use antibiotics, it successfully gets rid of the Lyme microbes, but the damage is already done. The second one is it doesn't successfully get rid of the Lyme microbes. And it's important to note that people interchange these terms. They sometimes call it PTLDS, they sometimes call it chronic Lyme, sometimes you'll hear PLDS, and also the CDC doesn't recognize chronic Lyme as an actual issue, which causes a ton of problems for people who are feeling chronic Lyme because they're unable to get insurance coverage and they find it very difficult to continue to get the medical treatment that they need when the CDC is just saying basically this doesn't exist in the first place. Then doctors are, usually follow what the CDC says, so they don't always believe that you still have Lyme disease after a course of antibiotics, which it causes so many problems between patients and doctors around the world. So since the CDC doesn't recognize it, there are plenty of other conventional doctors who also think that chronic Lyme just does not exist, even though despite the overwhelming amount of data and research that suggests otherwise. So it's pretty frustrating, and if you're one of these people that are dealing with these things, comment below. Let us know. Let's open a discussion about it, because it's my belief that the more we talk about these types of issues, the more it will get to the eyes of the correct people, the more we can help each other, support each other, and the more we can actually do something about it rather than just sitting here and saying, well, this is just how it is. Okay, so people with PTLDS, post-treatment Lyme disease syndrome, well, the reason they were infected is gone, right? The Borrelia burgdorferi microbes and any stealth microbes might be gone due to the antibiotics, but the damage is still there. It's kind of like if you were to get in a fender bender with your car. If the other car leaves, everything's okay, you do the insurance, you do the whole check and everything, the other person leaves, and then that car is no longer there, but the dent that they put in your car is still there, right? Just because the other car left doesn't mean the problem is solved. Same thing goes with post-treatment Lyme disease syndrome. The antibiotics came, they killed everything. Those things are gone, right? The microbes are gone. But the problems that they created still exist, and that's a serious issue. But the good news is the main thing we can do in order to fix that is to use natural methods like herbal remedies, because herbs, especially the herbs that we use to treat Lyme disease, have been shown to be protective and supportive, and they actually rebuild the cellular structures that are damaged in the fight against Lyme disease with antibiotics. So that's the good news. But people with chronic Lyme disease, that's a completely different issue. And that's basically that their body is not responding to the antibiotics, and it could be for many reasons, including the fact that Borrelia burgdorferi can sometimes insist or turn into a ball that kind of protects itself and hides from the antibiotics. A number of studies have shown that in some cases of chronic Lyme, the antibiotics kill many of the spirochetes, but they leave little fragments of spirochetes. Then what happens is they stop treatment of antibiotics, and over time those little fragments are able to grow back into full functioning spirochetes, and the Lyme symptoms just come flying back. Okay, this is a serious issue that it's tough to even say how to treat this, because you did everything you could. You took the antibiotics. The antibiotics did what they were supposed to do, but then it just wasn't good enough. Okay, your body just didn't respond well enough, and the Borrelia burgdorferi were just too smart. And that's the other thing with these microbes. They know how to hide and burrow themselves. They know how to insist. They know how to persist, and they stay going in your body for long periods of time because they've been here way longer than we have. Okay, the truth is that these stealth microbes have been on the earth for tens of millions of years, just building up their knowledge base and their ability to adapt to the world around them as they went along. So we're here now in 2022, and if we get these microbes inside of our body, they're way more advanced than us. They understand how to, they probably have mechanisms for antibiotics. Now, this isn't proven or based on research or study, but when you think about it, they've been here for tens of millions of years. We've been using antibiotics for 50 years, 100 years. So they are growing and adapting all the time. They're learning these things. And in fact, when a tick bites you and the microbes are going into the body, and by the way, that's one of the ways you get these, right? Is by a tick bite. It's not the only way, but it's one of the ways. If a tick bites you, before they enter the bloodstream, they actually detect the blood, the microbes do, and they change their DNA to match the DNA of the host so that they can go undetected inside of the body, which is kind of scary and pretty crazy, but it just goes to show you that the Borrelia burgdorferi and other stealth microbes are extremely smart. They know how to adapt, change, and go undetected inside of our bodies, which is another reason why you would think that they can adapt themselves to hide from antibiotics. If you're still feeling Lyme disease symptoms after a course of antibiotics, you are not crazy, okay? There's nothing wrong with you. It's not your problem. It's not something that you did wrong. It's not your fault, okay? And so I just want to make sure that you understand that. That's the number one thing. Number two is there are things we can do about this. Mainly, we can use a natural approach because Okay, antibiotics is one thing you can do, but where do you go from there, right? You already did it. It didn't work that well. So where do you go from there? Well, we use lifestyle approaches and herbal remedies in order to support, rebuild, and protect the structures inside the body so that any damage that was done will be rebuilt. Any further damage won't happen because it's being protected. And then the final magnitude of things that we do is to kill the Lyme microbes, right? So while it is important to kill the Lyme microbes, it shouldn't be the only focus, and it is the only focus when we take things like antibiotics. But if we change our mindset and look more towards a natural approach with lifestyle, herbs, and diet and nutrition, then we can start to take control of our bodies, build an environment where the microbes can't really thrive because we're constantly rebuilding everything they're tearing down. We're protecting things from being torn down in the first place, and we're killing the Lyme microbes. And the best way to do this, based on all of the research and studies that I've looked at, is 100% is a natural approach, okay? It's through herbs and lifestyle, diet and nutrition. But the main reason for this video is so that you know that you are not alone. If you're still feeling symptoms after you've taken antibiotics, it's not your fault, you're not alone. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there are scores of other people who are still suffering with Lyme disease symptoms right now, despite taking a round of antibiotics, just like you. If that's the case for you, I want you to stick around this channel because we're constantly uploading videos to help people with Lyme disease. We have a bunch of programs and supplements and things that we do to help people with Lyme disease as much as humanly possible so that you don't have to continue suffering and continue working within a broken conventional medical system that doesn't truly see you and doesn't help you with the problems that you're facing. So if that's you, hit the subscribe button below this video and stay tuned because we're coming out with more videos all the time, and I really want to help you and see you succeed at becoming the healthiest version of yourself and taking back your life again from these pesky microbes that just so happen to get into your body. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.